Hey, several people have asked me how I put my music together since I'm not a musician and I don't have a band. So I thought I'd make a video showing how I do that. I'll show you kind of our setup as I move things around here. We've kind of got our own little home studio that we can take advantage of in our retirement. And you can see keyboards, MIDI keyboards, etc. So I'm going to switch views here so you don't have to see me, thank God. And I'll just show you some of the stuff that I do. So one of the software packages I used is called Band in a Box. And Band in a Box has come a long, long way since using it back in the 1990s, because now instead of just MIDI kind of instruments, they have what are called real instruments or real tracks, and they use real musicians to create these sounds that you'll hear. So you can see I've put in a really simple chord structure. I wanted to create kind of a Latin sounding song that I'll use my MIDI keyboard here. I'll probably have a trumpet as my sound. And in Band in the Box you can pick a style, and here I've picked a particular style. It's a bossa to swing jazz style, and it has a piano, drums, and bass. So I've already picked that, and I'll let you hear what it sounds like. So it's not real exciting to me, and I don't know if you can see, I have this 4 chords on a repeat for 40 times, so it's just going to play the same chords over and over again. I'm going to add a guitar, so I'm coming down here and I'm selecting real tracks, and I'm gonna pick a best for chording, and I'm gonna pick a guitar. There are several that you can choose from. I'm gonna pick this one and generate. So now you hear a guitar going in the background. If I mute the piano, you'll hear it better. So that's getting more in the flavor that I want. I don't particularly like the piano, so I'm going to change the piano also, because this allows you to change all kinds of things. Let me close out of that, and I'll pick that real track for chording again. And there's a piano I'll try called Gospel Soul, and I'll regenerate that. So I like that. I like that has a better sound. The guitar sounds good. The piano sounds good. So over here I have a digital audio workstation called a DAW, a digital audio workstation called Reaper that I use. And what I can do with these real tracks is I can drag these. So I'm going to drag the drums over, and you can see it's generating information. And then you come over here and it's saying, do you want to keep this media to the tempo? And you can say yes. And it drags the drums over here. So when you play it, so now you hear the drums that Bandin the Box created. And I'm just dragging it over into Reaper to use. And I can do that with each track. So I can drag the bass over. And it goes through the same thing. Basically generating the track. It's generating a WAV file. Same question. So now I've got the bass and the guitar. So I would do that with every instrument, and I can add in a whole bunch of instruments, sorry about that, to this particular song that I want, not just these four. So I've already done this. So I'm going to come in and grab the one that I've already done. And in here, I've already gave the track some colors to differentiate, but I've got the drums, the bass, the piano, a guitar, and then a track for where I'm going to do the trumpet. You'll also see these kind of darken out spots. And so what I did is, this is where I can come in and clip a piece of music and then mute the parts that I don't want and play the parts that I do want. And that lets me do intros and change the sound up. So if you listen now, this will be the different piano and the different guitar. So I start off with just the guitar. I bring in the bass. Then I bring in the drums. Then I bring in the piano. So that all sounds, and I've added some effects because you can come in and add effects to your tracks through the effects button, and I've added a little effects to the guitar to give it a little more echo. So that's how I typically start making a song, is start it in Bandin the Box. What do I want the general feel like? And then drag that into Reaper, my digital audio workstation, and start massaging that before I ever start trying to do anything on my own. So when I do, so that's Janet's piano back there, that's real. This is a MIDI keyboard. It plays no sounds on its own. I have to pick a virtual instrument, which you do in Reaper, and this keyboard is plugged into this device that I created that I call the kisi device. And what it allows me to do is to choose a key and a scale. So right now it's in C major. So if I play this, the whole keyboard is in C major. The black keys don't work at all. I don't know how to play a piano. So I created this with the idea of a harmonica. Harmonicas you get keyed. So if a band is playing a song in B flat, you choose a B flat harmonica, and then you're basically able to play the harmonica to sound like you're playing with the band. But I don't know sharps and flats. So what I did was added in the ability to do scales, and you can even do user-defined scales. But I've got major, minor, major blues, minor pentatonic, minor pentatonic, major harmonic, minor harmonic, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian, and symmetric. And then I've got a whole bunch of already predefined user scales. So I've been playing with backing tracks, other people's backing tracks, for a couple years as I've been experimenting with this device I created. So I started to explain this keyboard is plugged into this device, the kisi device, which is in turn plugged into the computer. So normally you would plug in a MIDI device directly into your computer, and when you go to look at, for instance, I'm looking at the preferences, you would normally see your keyboard listed as a device. The computer recognizes that particular keyboard and you use that keyboard. Well, the kisi device overrides it because I don't want to use this keyboard directly. I want it to take away the black keys and put in the scale and key that I want. So it's connected up to the computer, and as you can see there's a kisi device. So that's the device that's actually being used. So Latin music tends to be in like a harmonic scale. So I'm actually going to change. This is, as you can see, in E minor. Now I'm going to change this to the key of E and choose minor harmonic. And so now my keyboard is only in that scale. Minor harmonic. And that's all the way across the keyboard. It just repeats that minor harmonic scale. So when I'm soloing, I don't have to worry about hitting miss notes. I mean, I still have to worry about timing of notes, but I don't have to worry about hitting bad notes because I'm in that scale and key. I can't hit a bad note. I can hit a note in the wrong timing, and that happens often, and I have to go correct it or do it over again. But with this device, I won't hit any wrong notes, out of scale or out of key notes. So that's a huge advantage for me because I don't know how to play an instrument. My friends back in Hammond, Louisiana would know. I took drums in 6th and 7th grade, and that was the extent of my musical talent, was playing the drums at Holy Ghost School. So this is my creation to allow me to play the music that you guys hear that I put up on YouTube. So now I'm going to turn this off, turn it back on after I set it up on a stand so you can actually watch me do a solo. And I'm going to try to put up on the screen a keyboard so you can actually see the notes that are being played. So let me switch views here. Okay, so I know this is going to be kind of distant and you're not going to be able to see the screens real well, but there is a piano keyboard under the trumpet that I'm using, and this is a virtual device. It's sampled instrument, and it was only $20, which is amazing because it sounds so absolutely real. But this is how I usually create the music. I try to find a kind of a starting point that I'll work with and then work around that. I kind of have one for this piece of music already, so I'll just kind of play and you can see how I create this. So all I'm doing is coming over here and I'm going to start recording as this is playing, and it'll be 30 seconds or so before I start playing, but I'm starting the recording up. So there I've recorded myself playing along to the backing track that I created, and I apologize for the trumpet being loud. I should have turned it down some. But then this is what I get. So that's the process I go about creating the music. Now I will go in and I will edit, I will maybe bring the piano to the foreground and pieces of it. I may add a guitar in there because a lot of Spanish music also has guitar. So this is how a non-musician makes music.